everybody, it's Doreen, and I'm back today with the last birthday card for the year. So this is it. This is my last birthday card that I have to make for 2015. So, what does our card look like for today? This is the card that we will be making. So come on and join me, and I'm going to show you how I made this card. Okay everybody, so we're going to bring up the supplies so we can get started with making my last birthday card for the year. I don't know how many I've made this year. It seems like I've made a ton, even though it may not seem like that to you because of I'm only doing videos every other week. But I'm really tired of making birthday cards, so I'm glad this is my last one for the year. So with this card, we are going to be doing some layering once again, like we did with the previous birthday card that I've made. So let's go ahead and get started. Now I'm going to give you the measurements, and I'm not going to show you how to lay this out on your mat. You can cut these pieces with your paper trimmer, and I did use some print and cut. So let's get started with the actual size of our card. So our card is going to be, let me make sure I got this right for the measurements. It is 7 inches wide by 10 inches long. And you're going to take this and score this in half to make it a 5 by 7 card. So we'll start off with our first layer. And the first layer, I'm using, let's see what paper pack we have. I'm using a DCWV paper pack. It's called the Natural Mat Stack. So this is an old one. So, and then I went ahead, and I'm sure a lot of you probably have, I'm sorry for that noise, some of these scissors. I was looking through my scrap room or craft room trying to find something, and I found these scissors. So I thought I am going to try and use up, I said this before, this year, some of supplies that I've bought in previous years and never used. And I bought quite a bit of these, and so I'm using these with this cardstock. And you might not be able to see it, but I've gone ahead and cut the edge, and that is my first layer that we're going to be putting up there. So if you have these, dig them out, use them. Okay, so let's move on for our second layer. So our next piece is going to be the same height and width. It is 5 by 1, so you're going to cut two of these, and then you're going to go ahead if you want and use your scissors if you want to tear it, however you want to do it, and that piece is going to lay down here. So I'm going to go ahead and just use my Tombow for this, and I hope I gave you the right measurement for this. This is 5 inches by 1 inch. So I want to line this up right here close to the top, but not at the very top, because I did go ahead and ink my edges using the Gathered Twig Distress ink. So we're not going to put it all the way to the top, but we're going to put it close. And then we're going to put our next layered piece. I'm going to line it up down here, and we'll get that piece on. So I'll line that up, and I do have some little pencil marks here as guides to where I want my pieces to be. So then we'll put that piece down. Now this next piece is also from the Natural Stack, and what I'm using to do this card is I am using a lot of scrap pieces of cardstock that I had left over from previous cards. And I always say, you know, use your scraps as much as you can. Don't just throw them away, because then you can do this type of card, what I'm doing, which is a layered card. So now this piece measures a 1/2 inch by 6.5 inches. And we're going to have that one right there. So let's get some tape on here and we'll add this piece. Make sure we get enough on the edge because we really want that to stick. And I'm going to line this up with the edge of the card, right on that edge where the fold is, and try to have equal amount of distance. And we're not quite on the edge there, so I'm going to pull that up and try that again. So let's see, I think that's an equal amount of distance, and we'll lay that there. So now, before we start adding anything else onto our card, I am going to put the card aside and we're going to start layering up our other pieces. So now, this is, I don't know if you would call this a cardstock. This is something I found at Michael's on the clearance rack several years ago. Remember, I'm trying to use up stuff that I haven't used before. So it feels like a cork type of paper, and it does have a sticky back on the back of it. So that's going to be our layer that actually is going to go here on our card. We're going to butt that up against that piece right there. So I'm not going to pull that off, that backing off just yet, because I want to layer everything, and then we'll pull that off and add all of that to our card. So this piece, I went with what the width of the cork paper, I guess that's what I'm going to call it, is, because it only came 4 inches wide. So I went with that. So this is 4 inches by 5 inches. So that's that piece. Now you can go ahead and cut whatever you want, because you might not have this, because like I said, this was on the clearance rack. And we'll continue on adding our next layer. So our next layer is just some black cardstock, and this is some of the Recollections cardstock. This piece measures 3 3/4 by 4 3/4. So I'm going to put that one right there, and then we'll add all of this. Once we get all our layers on this piece, we'll add to this and into the card. So we're doing our layering again like we did previously. So the next layer is going to measure 3.5 by 4.5. Now I will put all of the measurements down below in the description box, so you'll have them, rather than you trying to remember them, or if you're just watching the video you can write them down. Let's see, do we want to go this way? Or I think I like it that way. It really doesn't matter. But I'm going to, because this is cardstock, we're going to use our ATG gun to get this on here. And as you can see, I have the measurements on the back, so I would remember what I measured everything. So I'm just going to line this up here and place this on here. And I'm going to try to get this on here evenly, where we do have that 1/4 inch on each side. Okay, so now we can add our next layer, and our next layer measures 3 1/4 by 4 1/4, and that is going to go on top of here. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take layer that I'm going to put on top of this one and add that, and then we'll add all of that to this piece. So now what I've done here is, this is measures, let me give you the measurements first. This measures 3 inches, or 3, I have 2 different measurements here. Let's see. It measures 3 inches by 4 inches. And what I've done is taken my, I believe it is a Sizzix Tim Holtz folder, embossing folder, and it looks like this. I'm sorry for that glare. And I went ahead and embossed this, and then after I embossed it, I took my Tim Holtz brush corduroy distress ink and ran that across here, and then I took some of the Tim Holtz distress ink, the black soot, and then just lightly touched it up. So that is how I did this layer. So we'll add this layer to this layer, and because this is so thin from being embossed, I'm just going to use the Tombow because I don't want to pull too hard on this with the ATG gun. So I'll just layer that on here like so. And now we can take and add this layer to our previous layer. I'm kind of liking doing this layering technique because I'm using up a lot of my scraps. So we'll put this one down like so, and now we're going to take this and we're going to add it to this one. So let's go ahead and get some tape on here. Now we're going to really need to tape this down, and because of that cork paper, I'm hoping this is going to stick, that we may have to glue it down, but we're going to try this and see how it works. Let's see if it sticks. So it looks like it's sticking okay. So now, the last thing we're going to do is we're going to take and put this on our card. So now we can take the backing that is on here off of this piece. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to start from this end and slowly pull this off. I'm going to peel it back like so. That way I know I'm getting exactly where I want it, because I don't think we will be able to pull this up once we take it and put it there. So now we're ready to continue adding our next layer. So what I have here is just a piece of burlap wired ribbon, and I removed the ribbon and just started to peel back some of the threads. I want to add that right here. Now the question is, what am I going to use to put this on? Let's add this on here. And I'm using this because as I said before, I am trying to use up some of the things that I've already had previously. So our car will sit here. Now this car I got off the internet. I don't remember where I got it. If I remember, I'll put it down in the description bar or the description box. I'm pretty sure I saved it in order to use it, so I probably will be able to go back and find it. But if I can't, you can just search for a vintage classic car and use whatever you want for your car. So I want to turn this way because I want more of this on this side, and then put my car on, and then we'll add our Enjoy Your Birthday down here at the bottom. And this is also a print and cut. What I've done is I've gone ahead, and let's see if I can give you the measurement. It measures 1 1/4 by 3 1/2. And I've taken and used the background from my Silhouette software. I found a background somewhere and fill that in, and then I wrote out the words "Enjoy Your Birthday," and then I went ahead and used the print and cut. So I'm going to add on the final pieces and whatever embellishments I may add, and I'll come back with the finished card and also my envelope. And yay for me, no more birthday cards this year. Okay everybody, so I'm back with the finished card. So I went ahead and added my burlap ribbon back here behind the car, and then I went ahead and added the car, and I did pop the car up with some foam tape just to give it some dimension. And then I also popped up the "Enjoy Your Birthday" down here at the bottom. I popped that up with some foam tape as well just to give it some more dimension. And then of course I've added my candies down here on the side, and these were already colored this color, so I didn't have to use my Big Market pens to color those in. And then I've also done the print and cut and added my inside sentiment. And then for my envelope, I did use the We Are Memory Keepers 123 punch board. And remember, if you're going to put something on the outside of your envelope, add that before you put your envelope together, because I forgot to do that and I had to lightly tape that down. So this is a boxed envelope, and the size that I cut was for a 5x7. So if you have another type of scoreboard, what I cut the paper at was 9 7/8, and my first score mark was 4 1/8. And then you'll have to figure out how to make it, what score marks you use to make it a box envelope. So that is it everybody. This is my last birthday card of the year. So you're probably wondering what's next, right? Well, you know, it'll be Christmas. So stay tuned to my very small Christmas series that I will be doing, where we will be making some Christmas cards, and we will be using a silhouette, and we'll also be using a paper trimmer at some point. But actually, these cards are all going to be from the Silhouette online store. Every card that I will be making for the series is coming directly from there. And I don't know by the time you see this video or not if the sale will be over, but run over to the Silhouette online store, because everything in the design store for the files is 50% off. So thanks for watching everybody. Bye.